Thank you for tuning in to another Star Wars Nerd Story. I hope you guys are enjoying the content that I'm throwing out right now. I could understand if not. I'm new to this, okay? But please, just go ahead and stick around. Watch as much as you can until you get annoyed of my voice, and then click off. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoy it though, okay? I really do love talking about Star Wars, and if I could talk about Star Wars all day with somebody, I would, but I can't. Because, work and life and stuff. But like I said, if you enjoy it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe at the end. You don't have to do it right now. Make it to the end. If you enjoy it, subscribe. Other than that, you have fun, be safe, and check this out. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, the year was 200,000 BBY. Out in the outer rim laid a reddish planet with a red humanoid species. This species had tentacles coming from the cheeks and the chins. They also had pointed teeth and bone spurs protruding from parts of their body, places like their eyebrows and elbows. It was home to the very first Sith in the galaxy, the actual Sith species. The Sith were pretty incredible in their time, so much so that their practices are actually still taught today. The Sith civilization evolved on the planet of Korriban, leading a barbaric and hedonistic lifestyle while using the dark side of the Force. The Sith actually had a symbiotic relationship with the dark side. They fed on it and were empowered by it, which helped them develop and perfect techniques through the dark side of the Force, which many of these techniques thought were impossible to master. Techniques like the Night Sisters would use, but this is way before their time. That's right, I'm talking about Sith sorcery. And although the Sith were powerful, they were not united, and they lived in different tribes spread across the planet of Korriban, battling one another. The leader of the tribe was supposed to be the strongest, the most powerful, and of course, the one that could use Sith sorcery the best. In order to figure this out, they had to fight. So there was some infighting within tribes, but only when one Sith would challenge for the leadership role. The leadership role was to protect and make sure that the tribe was safe. The state of war between the Sith was common in their society. They treated it as on par with peace and serenity, and couldn't see the differences in the practices one way or another. This included things like barbaric practices and others. They had been doing it for so long that this is the way the Sith lived and how they survived. When the Sith finally settled into this lifestyle, the year was around 100,000 BBY, although there is a dark holocron that was found thousands of years later that said it went back even further. During this time, the Sith recorded information on scrolls, tombs, and tablets. It also contained articles of the destruction and domination of others, as well as the construction of Sith weapons and artifacts, and consequently the knowledge was capable of driving the unprepared seeker to insanity. The Sith had become very aware of the power they possessed, and around the year 36,453 BBY, the Tho-Yor pyramid ships appeared, gathering the best philosophers, priests, scientists, and warriors throughout the galaxy, then brought them to the Force world of Tython, which was strong in the Force. This included some of the Sith species from their home world of Korriban, which they would become some of the very first Jedi. But again, that's a story for another time. Civil war between the Sith nations on Korriban would continue for many thousands of years. The Sith were a warrior race who were thought to have infighting forever, until one single Sith was born. His name was Eidos. Ados was unique and was raised as a chosen being. He even looked different from all the other Sith. That is, his skin was unusual. With instead of having red skin, it was more of a charcoal color. Ados would grow to become one of the most powerful Sith on the planet, while demonstrating great skills in fighting as well as intelligence. Ados also showed great talent in Sith magic and was able to forge his own massive battle axe using Sith alchemy and unify the warring nations. And through much bloodshed, he was able to do so. He was able to accomplish the unification of Korriban by the year 28,000 BBY. Ados was like a god to the Sith, even earning the title of Sithari, which means perfect being. They thought that his reign might rule forever, be eternal, and even believed him to be immortal, but sadly, this was not the case. Ados ruled for about 300 years until the dark side invaders showed up on Korriban, known as the Rakata, the Infinite Empire. The Rakata hid their ultimate agenda from Ados and tried to lull him into trusting them by teaching him some technology, such as how to store knowledge on a device they called a holocron. However, if you know the Rakata, you know what they were planning. And if you don't know about the Rakata, I have already done an episode about it, and the link will be in the description. Eventually, the Rakata tried to conquer Korriban, but Ados wasn't going to let this happen. He took his mighty battle axe to the invaders and was able to outsmart the immensely powerful Rakatan Empire, the Infinite Empire. Despite their advanced technology, he was able to drive off this conquering race. While doing so, they were able to take control of one of the Rakatan hyperspace crafts. This is how the Sith became an intergalactic species and how they got the technology to move from one planet to another. Sadly, during the war and to guarantee the Sith a victory, the great ruler of the Sith, Ados, sacrificed his life to save his people. Now the Sith lost their king, their god if you will, and without him, the Sith once again plunged into civil war across the planet. And between the war with the Rakata and all the infighting, the world was broken, and the Sith had to relocate to different planets close to their home world of Korriban and the Zeiss system. I think I'm saying that right, I'm not too sure. But not all was lost. They had some of the Rakata's technology, plus a better understanding on how the dark side worked. Not all the Sith left Korriban. Some stayed, and some of those Sith saw Ados' death as a sign to move on from the old ways. This didn't set well with the remaining Sith, and they banished those Sith that thought that way. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is the end of part 1. I am going to make a part 2, but this takes me a while to do. I have to write it all out. I have to edit it. I have to re-edit it. Usually I have to rewrite it, and then I try and rewrite it again. I don't know. It's a big thing, okay? So it's going to be out in another 2 weeks. Part 2 will. Please be patient, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Other than that, you guys have fun, be safe, and get out of here.